Actress Jane Seymour is making headlines right now for being the most mature woman of age to pose for Playboy. 67 years old, not everyone would have the courage to do this. And Playboy told her the article and pictures of her have 8 billion, with a B, hits. I spoke with her a few days ago and had to ask what I know a lot of us are thinking. How do you find the gumption to put yourself out there like this?
I wondered, should I do Playboy or not? I mean, why would I want to do Playboy? But what's come out of it that has been so empowering is that young women, 18, 20 years old, and I just heard the other day from an 82-year-old doyen of society, they're all going, "You go, girl." And I'm going, okay. This was an article about me and my career, and they showed me the type of photographs they wanted, and they said they weren't interested in me being naked. So I said, fine. And then I just thought they'd made the most beautiful, classy, sensual, empowering, gorgeous pictures.
Give us 2, maybe 3 top tips of how you keep yourself in good enough shape to pose for Playboy at 67.
Okay, first of all, I try to eat as healthy as possible, and as you know, I grow my own organic vegetables in the back garden, have my own chickens. It's hard-boiled eggs in the morning and some green juice, and then whatever else happens in the day. I do everything in moderation. I don't do any Botoxes or Restylane, I don't do any of that stuff. This is my own face. I'm an actress. I believe in having a blank canvas so I can create whatever character it is I'm going to play. And I need muscles to work. So I need to be able to frown and laugh and cry and all those things. And working out, I do Pilates, gyrotonics with light weights and a bit of spinning.
You said that you feel better than ever at 67. You feel sexier than ever. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think, when you're in your 20s, it's like, oh my gosh, what is this all about? I've got to try and make a career or whatever it is. You're 30, you're thinking, oh, I'm supposed to find someone to have a baby with, or babies. 40, you're wondering what happened to the marriage. In my case, maybe not other people.
In many.
And then you try again, and then 60, you're going, what happened? And then at 67, I'm in a lovely relationship, with a very equal person who respects me and loves what I do and is supportive of what I do. My kids are growing. I'm free. I'm able to be me, and I'm getting to play great roles, doing a lot of comedy, which I love. And, I'm not afraid of getting pregnant, and I'm not afraid of dying, but I do want to fill the time in between with as much fun as possible.
That fun includes her show, Let's Get Physical, on Pop TV.
It was a great, great loss. Thank you, though.
Hi, Mom.
That's for wearing that shirt and for not returning my calls for 3 years. That's for losing your father. I'm so sorry, darling.
Sorry too, Mom.
Bit flabby?
Yeah, life of a rock star.
Well, actually, I thought rock stars were skinny because of the drugs.
Donuts are a drug.
Come, there's something you need to see.
And Jane turns fun into something purposeful with her Open Hearts Foundation.
Many, many years ago, I had a near-death experience, and I learned the most profound thing ever, which is that, first of all, it doesn't hurt when you die. That's kind of cool to know. But that I do know that you only take 2 things with you, which is the love you've shared and the difference you've made. I love CNN Heroes. That's my favorite thing ever. And so what we're trying to do with, we are doing with Open Hearts, is that we identify extraordinary people who've turned their lives around and found a way to pay it forward and help other people. If you find a way to open your heart and reach out to help someone else, you have a purpose, and that just brings joy and love into your life. And when you have that, I feel like you're like a beacon. People are attracted to that. People want to be around people that are making good things happen. And also, my mom and my dad used to say, if you can feel comfortable in your own skin, if you feel that you can be of service and you can be helpful to other people, that will be the beauty that comes from within.
So can you imagine somewhere in time, or Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, without Jane Seymour? She had a moment, I don't know if you know about this, early in her career that shook her up enough so that she considered leaving the acting profession. It's her Me Too moment, and this week she got real candid with me about that and why this movement matters.
I was in my early 20s. I'd already done the Bond film and some other things, and I was very excited. I was asked to come to Hollywood. I tested for a major motion picture with a major producer. And then another producer came to my agent and said, oh, she's in town. We want her for our movie. So producer number 2 has me meet with the director, writer. We rehearse. I'm scheduled to do a screen test. It's all, everything very much above board. And then my agent said, oh, he wants to see your previous screen test. He's going to screen it at a screen at his house before everyone else arrives. Would you go to his house and do this? So I thought nothing of it. So I went, and he screened it, and I'm waiting for the other people to arrive, and no one shows up. And then he looks at me and he just says, look, you know, I've persuaded everyone that you should star in my movie, but it was really hard to persuade them. But now it's your turn. And I looked at him and I went, yeah, I mean, to do a great screen test. And he said, no, you know what I mean. And he put his hand right inside, you know, my thighs and my thigh. And I just thought, okay, being British, you know, I'll cross my legs and move down the couch and maybe we can pretend this didn't happen. But it continually happened until I kind of had to get off the couch. And of course, no cell phones in those days. I didn't have a car. I had to ask him to call me a cab. And he basically threatened me. He said, if you ever let anyone know ever that you were ever here at my house, I will guarantee you will not work again anywhere on the planet. And the man was that powerful. And I've since found out that he was consistently did this kind of thing with people. Anyway, the reason I found out was the next day I had to lie to my agent and, you know, this other producer. And when they said, how did it go last night with so-and-so? And I said, oh, well, I didn't go. And they went, oh, that's probably a good thing. And I said, what do you mean? Why would I not go? And they said, well, I don't want to get into it, but, you know, you could have been difficult, have been difficult circumstances, and if things hadn't quite gone a certain way, you know, you probably wouldn't have got the role. And I think the thing that really upset me was that the people who were supposed to protect me, my agent and this other producer, didn't protect me. I mean, it was a lose-lose situation. I should never have gone there in the first place.
So anything that you would say to women who are trying to advance in the climate that they're in? Do you have faith that things are truly changing, or is this just going to be cyclical, in your opinion?
You know, this doesn't just happen in show business. It happens literally in every walk of life. I mean, I talk to people I know who are doctors, nurses, lawyers, businesswomen. I mean, they look at me like, really? You don't think it happens in our work every single day? And I think because all of this is now exposed and people are talking about it, I think, you know, men are going, well, wait a minute, you know, we might think twice before we approach certain people certain ways.
She says Frances McDormand's recent Oscar moment spotlights something we need more of: women lifting up other women.
I was so thrilled to see it because, you know, when women grow together, we blossom, we bloom. I mean, there are the most amazing talents out there. And actually, before the Oscars, people said, you know, what did you do to get ready? Well, actually, I spent the day before in the desert with my daughter, who's 36, and 17 of her friends, sleeping on the floor out there in the desert. Some of them were naked hiking. I was not naked hiking. But we were doing meditating, whatever. And then we all sat around a fire, and we did called Let's Burn This. Let's Burn This was we all wrote on this sort of origami thing what we never want to do again, where whatever it is that's been consuming us and holding us back. And we kind of blew in this thing and we put it on the fire and we spoke for a few minutes, each one of us in a circle, about what we were letting go of in our lives. It was so incredibly inspiring that when I drove back from the desert and then had 2 hours to put myself together for the Oscars, I just, you know, I was beaming from inside, you know, and I thought, how cool is this, you know, that I'm here with all these 30-somethings and we're all letting go of stuff we don't need anymore in our lives.